Army's having an excellent quarter, and we're filling every weapons order. We're experiencing record profits. We got cash pouring in up to the soffits. And rather than having to share the wealth, we've looked around in good stealth at the engineers, the workers, the management staff, and we've cut their numbers right in half. But not to worry about old St. George. He's one who's needed at the forge. Our hero Joe survived this cutoff. And besides, he's willing to work his butt off.
Mr. Wilson, I'm glad I found you. I really do not mean to hound you. I know that I've asked you this before, but are you sure we don't sell to El Salvador?
Why, how could you even begin to think that I could be such a total fink? To compromise my sacred trust? To engage in profiteering lust? Why, to even dream of ever selling arms for money is so repelling. My work is to serve God and a nation without considering compensation. Well, once we had some second-hand guns, but the Salvadorans didn't have the funds. We didn't mind taking them back. We shipped them off to our friends in Iraq.
2 months have passed. It was in November in San Salvador, if you remember, that the fighting took its awful toll, and we seem that much further from our goal. Now, I've worked that stand since '64, through Johnson, Nixon, the Vietnam War, and I've come to love these folks. I know all their concerns and all their jokes, but lately I've detected a morbid truth about both the factory and the newspaper booth. And though it smells a bit of perversity, we both seem to flourish in adversity. And now, after these many years, I'm facing one of my gravest fears.
Stop the slaughter! Stop the war! U.S. out of El Salvador! Don't believe their lousy lies! GE brings good things to die!
Wait, I've still got a family to feed. I've got medical bills that would make you bleed. We've got nothing against any third world slobs. We're the same as them. We're just doing our jobs. It's our government that makes the decisions about which country gets which provisions. If you've got a serious problem with that, go see your senator and have a chat.
Look, I understand. It's all the same. I pay my taxes. We're both to blame. None of our hands are very clean. I support the war machine. Look, I've got nothing against you or your friends. It's just that this madness has got to end.
Well, you don't owe me any apology. But I disagree with your methodology. Morning, Frank. What do you say? Did Nancy Reagan see her astrologer today?
The paper's sitting on the shelf. Maybe you better read it for yourself.
Hundreds killed by the very gun made right here in Burlington. God, is that my daughter caught up in this foreign slaughter? It cannot be. They haven't named names. The papers are playing their media games.
I'm afraid, my friend, this is no game. This was sent to me. It bears your name.
Is this my life's accomplished boast? To have helped to kill the one I love the most?
What is all this blithering and blathering? Is this some kind of social gathering? Are you going to come inside and work? Are you joining forces with this protester jerk?
I believed you, Wilson, when you swore that we never sold to El Salvador.
This is not to know or ask. Just shut up and do your task.
See, now this man has worked for you in all good trust, and the way you treat him is so unjust.
Your actions are to be reviled. This man has lost his only child.
Just leave me alone or I'll call the police and have you arrested for disturbing the peace.
I don't know if I can bear the weight of this cruel and violent twist of fate.
You are right to grieve your only child. There's plenty to reconcile. Still, you should know that I am well, considering I've been through hell.
Mary Jo, I thought you were buried. You had us all so very worried.
You should have worried about your labors and what they do to our Latin neighbors.
So, who's in this plywood coffin? I've seen these boxes all too often. proves it. They can't deny it. They make these guns to whomever will buy it.
How did you acquire this, if I may ask it? And why did you ship it in a casket?
The government helicopter crashed. That's why the gun was clearly smashed. I had to hide it from the authorities, or certainly it would have been seized.
Do you feel up at all in telling what led up to the chopper's felling? It may be difficult to share, but we need to know because we care.
I was in the city of San Salvador at an escalation of the war. I stayed with Fernanda 7 days and nights, tireless work for human rights. She and Francisco, the 4-year-old son, and Teresa Maria, barely 21. The people were tired of being on the defensive. They felt it was time to go on the offensive. The government set out to quell the uprising with the brutality every contract despises. They bombed and strafed the ghettos of the city. On their own people, they took no pity. My dear friend Fernanda, her daughter and son were only 3 among hundreds killed by the gun.
I know that everything you say is intended rightly to dismay. But I can only hear your voice, and my heart's reaction is to rejoice.
Can't you see the death and destruction caused by your work's construction?
We must do all we can to prevent a replication of these events.
I've heard your story better than you know, and I'm more than willing my job to forego. But that would be the easy route. The gun would still be made to shoot. Without me, the gun would still be made. But if I stay, I won't be afraid my opinion or my all to give, to build a product with which we all can live.
Converting the factory is an admirable goal, essential to this city's very soul. I only ask that you do all you can to help convert quickly so this slaughter won't happen again.
And so, some light at the end of the tunnel has finally begun to funnel. We hope that our theatricality has reflected some reality. When we see a man's heart converted this way, converting a weapon should be child's play. And if you've any doubts about what I say, just remember, where there's a will, there's a way.